Yeah, let's go back, and we'll go back to 3 Cs, I think, to start with, the 3 Cs initiative. And how many members now did you say it has?
13.
13. Yeah, 13.
By all European Union member states.
Yeah. And obviously it's been, this has been in process for some years now. So what would you identify as the kind of main accomplishments or, main kind of success stories, especially for Croatia and this region?
Yeah, Croatia is centrally located when it comes to this initiative. So if you look at the map of Europe, you'll see how central Croatia is when we talk about the 3 Cs initiative. And not only that, we are centrally located. And we did a major project, which is now part of it, which is the LNG terminal at the island of Krk. So by doing that, by constructing this terminal, making a decision on time, we somehow prevented Croatia being hit by energy crisis, maybe the way that some other countries were. So, and this terminal is now being booked and reserved for years and years to come, and we are considering enlarging. Actually, it's in the process of enlarging its capacity. But there are some other projects in other countries. So, like the Baltics, they managed to synchronize their electric grid with the rest of the European Union. Some infrastructure in the railway and highway is being developed. So there are a number of projects currently being worked at, but there is still a lot of potential to bring more at the table, and that's what's going to be the aim of the summit in Dubrovnik. There is also ideas to look further and to see how this project could be related or connected to some other existing projects. So, for example, just to illustrate the thinking, idea is to find ways, perhaps discussions are ongoing, to connect or to see what the cooperation could be with the IMEC, the Indian Middle East European Economic Corridor, so to see whether there is a potential to somehow connect the two and what would be the benefits of having that. So I'm sure this would be one of the topics to be discussed at the Dubrovnik summit.
Mm. And I mean, just to follow up, and do you see this, over the kind of medium term, spurring more integration of energy markets in this Western Balkans region as well? Obviously very fragmented and big obstacles there, but do you see that happening?
Absolutely. As I said initially, this project could only add to less fragmentation of Europe in whole, but also of the region south or east of Croatia. Yeah,
thanks. Just checking if anybody's got a question before I move on. Any hands? Don't be shy. We like to have questions from the floor. So, yeah, just raise your hands if you have any. If not, let me come back to you, Rade. In terms of, you talked about some of the successful programs, very successful ones that you've run in Malta and Greece and so on. I mean, what would you say is the kind of the most, what are the rewards, for a country that are signing up for this, beyond obviously bringing money into the state budget, which can then hopefully be used by governments for various purposes, to be spent on infrastructure, to be spent on social safety nets or whatever. I mean, beyond that, what's the benefits for the kind of broader economy and business environment of these investment migration schemes? Is it know-how, bringing know-how, or what are the things that you would identify?
Thank you for the question. It's always nice to have a question that you can answer from the practice. So as I said, I was still running Montenegro office. We had very successful Montenegro program. So I personally accommodated more than 500 families from all over the world, I think almost 50 nationalities who applied for our citizenship. And coming even Croatia, we were listening the previous debate how small Europe is, how small these countries are. And you know that I'm coming from one of the smallest countries in Europe, 600,000 people. So to see, you were asking me about the influence, to see the influence beside financial one, which is substantial. So somebody give donation or invest in the real estate or development €500,000 for us, it's really significant. All these people are vetted with external due diligence providers and approved by the government. The most interesting thing for me is when they come, let's say for passport or residence card, and they then start to, in a way, integrate. As I told you at the beginning, usually they are using this as a plan B. So it's not maybe immediate relocation. I can tell you that I had 12 clients from top management of Google who came, and when I asked them, they are not anymore in that company, so it's not completely relevant, but I asked them why. They were thinking 30 years in the future, 50 years in the future. They said, you will be in the EU, we see this part of the world as the safe, as not so polluted, as nice people, and things like that. So the biggest benefit is to see these people influencing with their knowledge, and if we as a region, and I think we could easily, as I said, I'm often in Croatia, especially on the coast, seeing a lot of Americans coming every year in Dubrovnik, that they actually more and more come here, because these are not only the wealthiest, these are, don't forget, the smartest people, intelligent people that you would like to be around you, and that will influence us positively also with our small sicknesses that we have as small nations here.
Okay, thanks. Just checking any hands here with a question. No? Okay, let me come back to you, Boris. Yeah, just talking again about the problem of connectivity and fragmentation. We've talked a little bit about energy, and we'll be talking about that later, of course, in more detail in the session later on. But just wanted to talk to you about what's happening in terms of improving transport infrastructure connections in the region on the one hand, and also the kind of digital connections, because obviously Croatia actually is managed to do very well in that area, has been quite a success story. We're going to talk about that again in the next session. But what is it that Croatia can offer to the rest of this region, Western Balkans region, in that respect?
Yep. From the perspective of transportation, we are in the middle of the three seas. And Croatia has a really big potential, and we are building railways. We have done building the highways. There are still some constructions. There is a big potential with LNG terminal, bringing to other countries down north, up north. And it is just ongoing investment, and we need to follow up on that.
Well, just on the investment question, I guess, all this stuff is very costly, and as we know, and where is that investment going to come from? I mean, beyond public investment in terms of private sector, and is it the case that it's much easier to attract investment through initiatives such as 3Cs with, groups of countries, getting together, or other such forums? And just to get your perspective about that, really, how can this country and this region, really, well, not accelerate, but ensure that there is a steady stream of investment into these critical kind of infrastructure areas?
Thanks. Yesterday I have a brief discussion with a colleague from Moody's, and he commented that while driving in taxi from airport to the hotel, the Croatian taxi driver was always complaining, and I told him that it's a national sport here in Croatia. We are all just complaining. But in reality, and we also discussed, we are doing fine or better than the average, which is also okay. And the whole region is a big motor for the Europe, and there are plans to use it, and the foreign investments are going more and more, and the ranking is getting better, so I think there is a big perspective. From digitalization, there is also, we have a very big and very capable IT sector here in Croatia, together with the regional countries, and in Oracle we are also operating in all regional, and we are doing inter-country, multi-country projects. I can mention one project that we did recently, which went into production this year. The EU country within the 3Cs region, they developed a digital citizenship application, which they need to the infrastructure put into production very soon. They had a choice: build the infrastructure by yourself, which would take them some time to procure, to manage, to install, and put into motion, or they could bought already prefabricated solution, which in the end they did. It took them only 6 months to put it into production. The know-how is still on their side because they are the ones having the knowledge of developing the application, and all the data is secure because the solution is based within the country, and Europe is very much regulated with all the data protection, cybersecurity, etc. We need to be compliant with that. So that was their most and first ask, and they got all that, and they were very, very fast. And yeah.
Great, thank you. We've got just less than 3 minutes left. So I suppose the final question for all of you really is, you know, to say what you see as the key strengths of the business operating environment here in Croatia that makes it attractive for investors, but also, more importantly, what would you identify as what needs to be done in terms of, you know, reform of the operating regulatory environment, some would make a difference now in the next year or two? Maybe Igor, to start with you.
Yeah, I mean, Croatia always tops the list when it comes to English fluency. So I think that's something that's important for foreign investors when they come to a country. So the knowledge of English language is really very good in Croatia. Croatia is a safe country, so we always rank among the first countries when it comes to safety, which I also think is very, very important. And tech savvy, I would say. Boris could probably add to that, but the new generations, they're really tech savvy, and that all combined could serve as attractive model for those coming to Croatia, apart from being central located, as I said, member of the Eurozone, Schengen, and everything else that Prime Minister referred to. There is always a room for improvement, so our member states in the chamber would probably have a list of something that they would like to be done better, but I think it's important that we are on a good track, and then when it comes to adjusting taxes and everything else related, it's not as maybe important.
Boris, anything to add? Anything that you'd like to see, or your members?
Maybe just to comment, it was briefly mentioned by the Prime Minister, the demography problem, and Europe, basically, we are shrinking in size and in members. And I was discussing with my son. He's going to university, and we want all the young people and all the brightest people to just get some experience in the world and just bring the best of that knowledge locally and participate in the economy in the region back home.
Okay, thanks. Rade, any last point from you?
Henley Partners has 70 offices, as I said. The last 3 years, people from my office were chosen twice for the most excellent people in that system. My message is We are better as individuals than we think we are. We live in the most beautiful part of the world. We need systems like Swiss system brought Henley Partners to Montenegro and these parts. If we are in the system, I think we are more than competitive.